Hi! Alright, I am firstly going to apologize for the fact that I sound very nasally, and that's because I'm sick. I've been sick for like over a week now, so I'm going to apologize for any sniffling you may hear. So I decided to work on this shoe. This is a great big giant shoe someone gave to my wife, and she's like, yeah, I'm never going to wear this. I was like, oh, I'll use it. So, I love high heels, if you don't know this. If you haven't been able to tell by my videos, I'm a high heel junkie. So, I took this shoe, and it was total stripper shoe. I live in Vegas, so I figured it's perfect. So, it had the glossy finish on the base of the shoe, so I decided to sand that down so I could paint it. Had I not sanded it down, the paint wouldn't have adhered to the surface very well. So this is going to be a fairly quick video, not necessarily in time because it's 12 minutes, but it's going to be very rapid. Things are going to happen quickly. Because this is a shoe, it's 3D, so there are multiple sides, and I have to deal with the back. So you're only going to see bits and pieces of what I do, but then I repeated it. So sorry for the sniffling. Right now I'm using golden gesso, and I am just trying to cover up this black. The project that I'm working on, this was a video hop, as you'll be able to tell. And my friend Cindy signed out of her shoes. So sweet, such a doll. She gave me a challenge, well, me and a bunch of other artists. Does that clip upside down? Oh, sorry. So she gave us a challenge to create a project based off of this picture right here. So we had to be inspired by, we had to make a piece inspired by this. So I decided to do the shoe because I haven't made anything in a long while. So I figured, well, let's just jump in feet first, or shoe first rather. So I am using some aquamarine fluid acrylics with a little bit of glazing fluid, and I used 2 layers of gesso, by the way. That's how that got so stark white. So I'm using the glazing fluid and the fluid acrylic, and because the fluid acrylic is so thin, and then the glazing fluid thins it down even further, I got a real nice light wash of this color. And so I coated the whole thing in this color, which was a really, really pretty blue. And I'm going to take a wet paper towel and then pounce some of it up. You're going to miss footage because this is a shoe. I had to pick it up and hold it so I could get the various angles, so you're going to miss stuff. So I figured I would just talk you through it. So then I liked that blue, but I wanted to start building up some layers on this color. I knew that the paint was going to speak for itself on the shoe, so I decided to, like I said, build up colors. I wanted to start light and then build up on top of it. So I added a couple, like a darker blue, and then a little bit of that picked raspberry distress paint, and just to tinge it like almost like a periwinkle. And because it's still got that glazing fluid in it, I'm going to be able to get that same effect. It's going to have a longer open time. So I did the same thing where I kind of swiped it. So you'll see it's got like this like gradient effect. It almost looks like cloudy. So then I used a stamp with some archival ink. It was just a script stamp just to create just a little more texture on the background. And now, if you remember from the picture, the lady in the dress, she's got flowers. You can't really tell if they're like flowers in front of her or if it's part of the dress, but I really like the shape of the flowers. They look kind of like abstract peacock feathers to me. So I decided to go with those. And so I created some 3 on the side and then 3 on the back of the heel with white gesso, and then I put a ton of glass bead gel. I mean, I just like caked it up. I had to let this sit for like 2 days to dry. So, tons and tons of glass bead gel, and I'm just using a little brush, and I'm patting the glass bead gel down, because if you smear it, it's going to thin it out, and I wanted it really thick. So this is a little more acrylic paint, and I'm just using a little like keychain card, and I am creating lines. This is going to mimic the brick in the background of the picture. I was inspired by the picture, but I didn't want to replicate it. So I took elements from it. The flower things are very similar to the photo, so that I almost copied, but not really, because they are different. But the brickwork, I was like, oh, that's going to be really fun to create. So then I cut a little notch in that card to create the little tiny lines. And I got to tell you, that was fun to do. I think I'm going to do that on an art journal page sometime in the future. So this is a little more fluid acrylic, and this is not ultramarine. Yeah, it might be ultramarine. And then I just used a little bit of Liquitex Basics paint on top of it. I wanted to add a couple different colors, and I'm going to do 2 layers. First I do the light purple, and then I'm going to do the dark purple. And you don't see me do all of that on camera because that would have been a lot of footage. There were like 15 different clips of this. I've been working on this for about 2 months now. So there it is after I had darkened it up using 2 layers of the ultramarine. And then this is a green gold by Golden. It's also a fluid acrylic. And I knew that these wouldn't be terribly opaque, but I was okay with that because I didn't really want a lot of like real crisp lines. Looking back now, I wish I would have added a little bit of blue to the purple just to kind of muddy it up a little bit, just to make it a little more sketchy, because I really like that quality in this painting, the one you can see kind of to the left in this. So I did 2 layers of the green on all 6 of these little orbs. They're kind of turning into feathers. I don't know if they turn out to be feathers or flowers, and I guess we'll call them flowers because I end up stuffing the shoe full of flowers. So you know what? I guess they're flowers. But then again, it also has some feathers. So you know, whatever. Then again, I also think they're kind of like abstract martini olives. So you know, whatever. You just do with that what you will. So then I took some dark blue and a lighter, I think it was cobalt. No, manganese. And blue, and I am just doing some like little centerpieces right in the middle. And then I took bone black acrylic paint, and now I am drawing on the stems and outlining these. I had to do a couple of passes on this because the bone black wasn't terribly opaque. Again, it's a fluid acrylic, so but I didn't want that texture from the 3D of a traditional paint, so that's why I used mostly fluid paints here. So it did take a couple passes, but eventually it got opaque enough. So, and then as you can see, I did the back. And then I am using some of that dark blue paint and just spattering it all over. Alright, now this is hard to tell because I had to hold it really close to my face. I am using Inktense blocks, and you'll see this in the next clip. I'm using 2 different colors of Inktense blocks to create shadows on that brick to make it pop and stand out. First I did a dark blue and then a little bit of magenta, and I did that on all the sides of the shoe. And I gotta tell you, I really liked that effect. I think it really helped that stand out a little bit in the background. And now this is just a little bit of gelatos right around the edges, just to help kind of frame in the shoe, because I felt like the edges were kind of stark. And I wanted something that would be real faint, but I could use some water to just kind of smear it out a little bit. So this is a couple different colors of acrylic paint, a hot pink and a quinacridone magenta, and I am going to spatter it all over the shoe. And I really didn't care if they were big spatters, little spatters, messy spatter. I didn't care. I just wanted it to be sketchy and fun, because it didn't. The original painting wasn't like clean and precise, and you know what? Neither am I. So I'm not clean. So now I am just adding on a little bit of mesh, like gauze. And I just glued that right down. I wanted to cover up the brand of the shoe, but I also wanted to be able to still see the brand of the shoe if I wanted to go back and like find another pair of these shoes somewhere. So, because this was a lot of fun to do, and there was a lot of space on this shoe to paint. I think the heel is about 8 inches tall, and generally wore them once. So, yeah. She's like, yeah, never again. I'm like, yeah, I can understand. Plus, it's a slide like a mule, so, ow. Like, there's nothing to support your ankle. Oh, no. No, 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 no. So, I just started, I took some of these paper flowers. These are from Kelly Colgrove, and I took a few of them outside and spray painted them. So I've got some silver and some pink colors to tie in the pink spatters, and just some greens of various hues. And some of them were not spray painted, but most of them were. The silver ones most definitely were. And one of them was one of those really cheap flowers, those like fabric flowers, and it came out great when it was spray painted. So, fun fact. And then I decided I need some paper in here. It's just something as a base to help support the stuff I'm planning on putting on top. So I just balled up a piece of paper and shoved it in there. So I am still just gluing flowers on. So the flowers, to me, flowers are very representative of the feminine and women. So on top of the fact that I'm using a shoe, I didn't paint a woman, but again, I was inspired by the fact that there's a woman in the photo, and women play a pivotal role in my life. So, as they do all of our lives, I hope. So I wanted to represent the feminine with the flowers, and the gauze is very wispy, and the white feathers are like pure, and so all of this has like a little bit of meaning. And then the seashells, it's reminiscent of Venus, and so there's all these things that had meaning. So I put it all together, and I quite like it. So I hope you like this too and got inspired to find something that you love and paint it, because no one says that you have to do everything in an art journal. You can paint whatever you want. So I hope you liked the video. I'll talk to y'all soon. Bye!